welcome to NAPOD, where we provide NA speaker meetings and workshops in a podcast. We are an ad-free podcast, and if you enjoy listening, please help us to be self-supporting by visiting napod.xyz, look for the donate link, and drop $1 or $2 in the virtual basket. If you're also in AA or have friends that are, please tell them about our other podcast, Sobercast. Sobercast features AA speakers and workshops in the same format as NAPOD. We upload a new speaker every day, and it's easy to subscribe by searching for Sobercast, that's 2 words, on any podcast player app, or go to Sobercast.com. Enjoy the podcast, and thanks for listening.
Okay. Hi, family. My name is Gloria, and I'm a grateful recovering addict. The meeting format. We would like to open this but in Narcotics Anonymous, we are presented with a dilemma. When NA members identify themselves as addicts or alcoholics, cross-addicted, or talk about living clean and sober, the clarity of the NA message is blurred. To speak in this manner suggests that there are 2 diseases, that one drug is separate from the rest. Narcotics Anonymous makes no distinctions between drugs. Our identification is based on our similarities and not our differences. And with that, my name is Gloria, and I'm an addict. I want to thank the committee for asking me to come out and share my experience, strength, and hope on a vision of hope. I also want to thank God for getting us here safe and having my sponsee with me. It's truly a miracle, So I'm just grateful for that. A vision of hope. Right now somebody's shooting dope in the gallery. Right now somebody's taking a hit off a broken stem, only to find out that they don't have crack, they got soap. Right now somebody's getting ready to take their first pull off some angel dust. Right now somebody that is underage is getting ready to be introduced to ecstasy for the very first time. So we talk about a vision of hope. Any addict in this room who's clean for one day, you are a vision of hope. The clean addict indeed is a vision of hope. And I just want to tell you a little bit about me and how I came into this process and how the predecessors gave me that vision of hope. Real quick, I'm an addict that used drugs for 27 years. I shot dope. I smoked angel dust. Angel dust was a drug that I loved. I smoked crack for about 6-7 months. Crack was the drug that brought me to my knees and opened me up for suggestions. Crack was a drug that I found out that I really had a problem. Because when I was shooting dope, right, I still could take care of my daughter to the best of my ability. ACS hadn't come to get her, right? With dope, I could still show up to some things, right, as long as I had a hit. But with crack moved me into a whole realm of its own. I had even if I thought when I was smoking angel dust and I was shooting dope, if I ever thought that I was in control, crack let me know that I was out of control. What I learned about crack is that crack had the power to bring me to my knees. Crack had the power to make me feel like I wanted to die. So when I was out there, when you're using and you're in the active part, right? Some of the highs felt good. Now I don't know about y'all, but I can tell you some of my highs felt good because every day just wasn't a bad day. But it was the nasty things that I had to do to get the drug that reflected utter desperation in my life. When I was confronted about my using, right? I always looked at the stopping. I always looked at the stopping and never looked at the using. And as my disease continued to progress, right, I thought about stopping less and less. And in the end, I realized, I asked myself, could it be the drugs? I sat there and I always look for this magic formula or this magic to, help me to find a different way or that would make me be all right. I looked through people, places, and things. I thought people, places, and things could make everything all right with me. Only to find out because I was trapped, trapped. Remember when you was trapped? Trapped in the need for instant gratification that the drugs brought me, that the money brought me, that the men brought me, that the cars brought me. But what I realized is that when the euphoria wore off, when the good times were no longer good times, I got to see the ugly side of addiction. The higher the drugs took me, the lower they brought me. My life was a contradict because I always said I wanted to get high, but after I got high, I always found myself on my knees, either sucking on something to suck on something else, or come to the point where I had to pray and ask God to help me. So I'm grateful. I'm grateful right now to be in Narcotics Anonymous. I'm grateful to be introduced to this program because my program out on the street was about dying. They say if we continue to use, we'll die. The only time I got a reprieve was when I went into the institution, Rikers Island. I lived in Rikers Island. When I came out of Rikers Island, it was only for a visit. Like, I thought that they had the answer. When they sent me to the psychiatrist, I thought that they was going to give me some vision of hope. But the psychiatrist couldn't tell me what was wrong with me. And when I went to the psychiatrist, even in jail, they wanted to know, did I have a Medicaid number? This is the only place that we can come, and the only requirement for membership is a desire to stop using. They don't care about our degrees in here. We don't care about how much money. We don't care about your drug dealer. We don't care about those things. All we want to know is, do you have a problem, and how can we help? So when I came into Narcotics Anonymous, like, my spirit was broken. My spirit, do you know what it feels like to have your spirit broken? Hopelessness, helplessness, burned all the bridges. My spirit was broken. And I could no longer feel like I had come numb to love. So coming into a Narcotics Anonymous meeting and the greetings, what I found is we greet each other, right, in a way of recognition reserved for the survivor who suffered like we did, but found recovery. And in that, I got a vision of hope because I said, if they could do it, maybe I could do it too. It is very important, like, how we live our lives in Narcotics Anonymous. And we know that there's a beginning process, and then there's this spiritual awakening. Like, I heard a lot of people talking about this spiritual awakening. The spiritual awakening is when somebody invited me to a Narcotics Anonymous meeting when I didn't think I had a problem. That's some powerful stuff. I didn't think I had a problem. When I got here, I wouldn't even raise my hand, and if I did, I said, my name is Gloria. I refused to put addict on it. Because I didn't believe I was an addict. I wasn't convinced that I was an addict. But as I kept coming, and I started hearing the readings, like one of the things that became a higher power for me, a vision of hope for me, was the literature. Because I didn't know whether I wanted to believe y'all. I didn't know what y'all were doing in here. But what I do know is that in these meetings, there is a spirit or energy that cannot be explained. In these meetings, recovery happens. That I know. If I keep coming, like, I didn't understand how we were saving each other's life with 2 words. Let go. Short sentences. If you don't pick it up, you can't get high. Short sentences. Stay away from people, places, and things. I couldn't understand how we were saving each other's lives with those slogans that weren't even sentences. Especially going to school and having a degree. You know, faking it on the job. You know, doing the bare minimum. I could not believe that I could come to a place like this, right, and find some hope. The message is hope, and the promise is freedom from active addiction. That any addict Anybody could lose a desire to stop using, find a new way to live. And no addict ever have to die from the horrors of addiction. If you in here, you don't have to die. We don't have to die from the horrors of addiction because a new way has been proven. So like the vision of hope is when I got here, right? And they hugged me, right? Because out there, I didn't feel the love. And even today, after 9 years, when I don't feel love, I make a meeting because no matter where I make that meeting, somebody's going to give me a hug and let me know that I'm at home. You know, Narcotics Anonymous is, I often have to wonder, like, why am I here? Because sometimes I come to Narcotics Anonymous and like we hang out. Sometimes we come to Narcotics Anonymous and we don't even hear the message. We stand in the back and we nod. Sometimes we come to Narcotics Anonymous and we sit down and we only hear a little of the message. But there's something that happens because when we leave out the meeting, we don't use. We don't use. Now, can't nobody explain that to me. You can tell me how it works, but you can't explain to me how that happens. Because I believe that God's divine intervention stepped in my life, in the meetings, to let me know that if I was willing, His grace would not take me where His mercy couldn't keep me. We're talking about faith. We're talking about a vision of hope. We're talking about something different than myself. So when I came in here, right, you people were my higher power. You people. Because when I first came in here, like, your joy was something that I wanted. See, because I could sit in the seat and be quiet and not say a word, but inside I wanted that joy y'all had. See, because I didn't understand coming to Narcotics Anonymous and everybody's talking and drinking coffee and saying where we're going to go after the meeting. I didn't understand that. But there was something that rang clear, that every time I made that meeting and I would look around the room, people were having fun. People were playing cards at 8 o'clock in the morning and the meeting starts at 10. And they looked like they was having fun. I'm talking about the vision of hope. Knowing that what you got is something that I want. And how do I get this? See, because I know today I am a vision of hope. That's right. And each one of us in here, with any clean time, you are a vision of hope. My predecessors, they opened up the doors and opened up their arms wide to let me know first that I was welcome. That I was welcome. When they took me to my seat, wherever in the front, when they got up out of their seat, because I'm going to tell you today that we're so caught up sometimes, or maybe I'm so caught up, and a newcomer comes, I don't offer them the first. I don't offer them the seat. Because I'm caught up into what I got to get. But what I got to give away in order to keep it. And looking at how the predecessors trained me, that now it's time for me to give back and train the new people coming in. And when I say train them, I mean to like educate them and give them suggestions and let them know how this program works. But what I understand about newcomers, they watch us like TV. They don't say nothing, but they watch us like TV. They want to know how many, a newcomer can tell you what meeting you make and when you make that meeting. Especially if they got their eyes on you. A newcomer will be attracted by a speaker. They like to hear certain people share because of the identification. So a newcomer will get a vision of hope from the speaker. And guess what? That this here is nothing but another part of doing service. This is not greater than anything we do in Narcotics Anonymous. This is just simply carrying the message of hope that was given to us. The vision becomes when we're able to sit down and spend time with the newcomer. That, I'm tired of hearing people tell me, well, back in my day, this is what we did. Listen, if it worked in 1953, it should still be working in 2005. That's what y'all told me. It involves even to greater stuff. So we gotta ask ourselves, are we a vision of hope for the newcomer? The newcomer is the most important person. And remember, we wouldn't have what we have had it not been for the newcomer. The newcomer, and it's not only just for the newcomer. The vision of hope is basically to give a person who has no hope, a person that's relapsed. Some people who relapse, they're afraid to come back. Because people have no tolerance for relapsers. But hell, if they didn't relapse, we wouldn't know what it is to relapse. See, because a relapser teaches me I don't ever want to be in a dilemma of should I go left or should I go right? That is some painful stuff. When we get up in the morning, I don't think about am I going to use? I think about what I'm going to wear to work. Right? Because we've been here for a minute. It's always about using, but that's not the first thing on my mind. And the dilemma for a newcomer is always, what should I do? Where should I go? They can sit here all day and listen to the message, and if we don't tap them on the shoulder before they go out, they're going to go use. And I know I've done it too. Not in Narcotics Anonymous. I did it in another organization. I would sit and listen because I was so desperate to get a daily reprieve from the disease of active addiction. And I would listen and listen and listen and listen. And when I would get up, nobody would say, you're new. My name is so-and-so. So God said, well, if it don't happen there, I'm going to send you to a place where you could be a part of and everybody will know your name. See, the other lady that shared, she talked about when we deal with our dilemmas. And some of our dilemmas, and see, the newcomer, they're attracted to the way we carry ourselves. So we gotta watch how we listen, I gotta watch how I carry myself. Because I know, without a doubt, I'm a woman of integrity. Cause some things happen in here. Somebody talked about changing without my own permission. Some things happen up in here. I got more than I bargained for because God intervened. Because God came in my spirit and let me know that this is not a man-made thing. That only He has the power to change me. Only He has the power to pick me up. And when I first got here, I didn't want to hear about God. So remember, like the newcomer, they don't want to, they may not want to hear about God. But we don't want to enforce that on them. We want to be a vision of hope. You take this vision, what God does for me in here. See, because I agree with the speaker outside. God didn't just clean me up for me to stay in Narcotics Anonymous and not take the tools that I have and take them outside. And so after being incarcerated 66 times, segregation, you can suffer in jail. The girls want to sleep with you. They want to still, listen, my story is not that I ran cell block 3. That's not my story. My story is when they said jump, I said ha. My story is I started looking at the fact that alcohol gave me false courage. Because when I was in jail, I didn't have the courage to rebuttal against what they were telling me to do. They said wash my drawers and I washed them. That's my story. And as a result of all of that, I don't go back to jail anymore through the back door. But I got a job there. I'm a vision of hope. Because the same young ladies that I shared bunks with after 23 years, because I stopped going to jail before I stopped using. But after 23 years of not going to jail, they still coming back. And when I walk through that door, I'm a vision of hope. And the old timers at first, like the ones that I used to hang out with that make the quick money from Brooklyn, like I run groups. So they wouldn't come to, they didn't come to the groups. So I would just say, it's good to see you, give them hugs, give them love, give them all of that. But you know what they was looking for? Consistency. And up in my 10th year, working at Rikers Island, all of those people that I shared a bunk with, now they start coming to my group. Because now they're figuring out after 10 years of doing the same thing, expecting different results, that maybe their way don't work, they might give the way that I'm doing it a try. So I'm talking about a vision of hope. When I walk through Rikers Island, let me tell you, when I come in, and this is my 13th year, I'm telling you, they be whispering. She used to be an inmate. She used to be an inmate. Oh man, look at her now. She fly. Look at her now. A vision of hope. Whatever attracts them. I'm not talking about what they're attracted to. They're attracted to the material thing. But if we stay here long enough, that vision of hope, what we do with the vision of hope, we stay here, we see other people get homes. That's a vision of hope. Because it's not only the stopping and becoming a part of Narcotics Anonymous, but it's also the things that we want to stop doing. If we want to stop sleeping around, then like we hear people say that I stopped doing this. And they become a vision of hope. I don't care how much a person talk about how we living, but as long as we're willing, we have an open mind to listen to the person that says, I did it and it could happen.
That's right. That's right.
That's a vision of hope.
That's right.
So, my sponsor just gave me the time sign. So kind of like threw me off. No, that's okay. Yeah, I did. This is my Swansea. I love her. She got 55 days back. So in closing, what I wanted to say is that the vision of hope is not just inside of the rooms of Narcotics Anonymous. The vision of hope is in any area of our lives that we feel hopeless. If we feel hopeless and, spending a lot of money, we have to keep coming and hear other people talk about, how they got on a budget. Or I'm telling you, they don't talk about that enough.
That's right.
But I told her, listen, in closing, when I came to the convention in Jersey, right? In Jersey, the speakers, they usually, waive the registration. So I'm thinking that we come into Jersey and they're gonna waive the registration. So I bought $20. That's $20 with me. I paid the toll, and I have to pay the toll going back. So I pulled the chairperson over to the side and I said, I don't have the money, and I felt bad, but I wanted to be up front. I don't have the money. I got like $10 on me now, And then he said, well, you gotta, everybody's required to pay. And I said, I don't have it. So he gave me $10 and I had another $5, was $25. But that was a vision of hope for me too. Because when I work and stuff, I want to be able to help out the newcomer. But see, that was a vision of hope for me too. And then when they asked, the newcomer for donation, one of the other women who was sitting behind the registration put in $5 for her. And that's a vision of hope for me, because maybe these are areas that I haven't gotten to. But anything that you believe that has your life chaotic, or something that you really feel that you want to do, we attach ourselves to people who are doing those things. And definitely how we live, speaks on doing our step works. With that, my name is Gloria. Thanks for letting me share. What is it, 15 minutes apiece? You're welcome.
My name is Kevin. I'm an addict. I guess I have to read this first. Okay. First and foremost, before I say anything, I want to thank God for everything. For the good, the bad, the indifferent, the pain, the suffering, the ups, the downs, the ins and outs, the good times, the bad times, the sad times, the mad times, and all times. Because without all that, I probably won't appreciate life. It's always a privilege for me to share anywhere, especially in the capital area, and especially this year. You know, and I don't say that with no resentment or remorse, because I didn't audition this year. You know how people start auditioning when they know a convention coming up? Start auditioning to be a speaker. I realized that I don't have to audition for God. That when it's time for me to do something, either I do it or I suffer. And today I don't want to suffer. I'm clean, man. I'm feeling good. And I'm not apologizing for that. Because I ain't had to apologize when I felt bad. I'm in good spirits, mentally, physically, and spiritually. People have been telling me that I look damn good today. And what's more important than that is the gift of what I saw in the mirror. And it took some time, I hear the sister speaking, and thank you for the message of recovery. And the topic, I want to get on the topic because I don't want to be in and out, and I want to put my mess in there. I want to share the message. Because if I share my mess, somebody might get high, and the person might be me. I realize that when I'm given the gift to do God's will, to share God's message, they don't have nothing to do with me. And I ask God to use me as a tool and instrument. Like, it don't matter if I ain't sharing in front of 100 people. If God just used me to help one person, then that's good enough for me. Because I'm not impressed with this anymore. I'm not impressed with sounding good and being, using a podium as a personal way to badger people or to get my stuff off, or to dump, to make you feel bad before I can feel good. I ain't there today. I realize this is an opportunity for me to show God that I'm grateful for what He's done for me. And getting to the topic of vision of hope, I was sitting there listening to the sister, and I was thinking for a minute, like I was a vision of everything but hope. I didn't come in here with a vision of hope for somebody. My vision was blurred. I was a vision of dope, cope, and every goddamn thing else but hope. I was a vision that you can go in and out of institutions, come back out and go back again and try to figure out how you got there. I was a vision of using and not getting high no more. Just using and suffering. I was a vision of, I kept coming back to the same spot that didn't work. I was a vision of changing my name and not even realizing that the name that I was changing without my permission. Because people start calling me different things. And not the process, but the progress. And it's funny how you can go from slick to smooth to player to stay high to hallway. And that's the progress of my addiction. That's the vision I had. Only thing I can see before I got here was one more. That was an antidote to everything. I wasn't using anymore. I was being used. I was Fiddler and Roots. Even if Fiddler was offered freedom, he didn't want it. Nah, man, I want to stay here in the plantation. I love being in 120 degrees picking cotton. people telling me what to do. So my vision was blurred, man. I couldn't see anything. And thank God for the experienced members and those that was here before me, because they say we are each other's eyes and ears. Because what I didn't see, you did. So I'm grateful for people that got here before me, because I hate to think about, man, if we came in here at the same time and nobody had no hope. We all talking about the same thing, getting one more. Thank God for people that were celebrating 30 and 60 and 90 in a year and multiple years. Because they was my vision. It's impossible to see spirituality without the spiritual eye. It's impossible to hear spirituality without a spiritual ear. It's impossible to be loving, caring, and understanding without a change in the condition of my heart. So I ain't gonna act like I walked in here with all this spirituality, all this good feelings, all this hope, all this, glad to be here. It took me some time for the cloud to clear before I can start seeing some things. And I'm grateful for my struggles, man. Because without the struggles, I wouldn't appreciate where I'm at right now. So I'm happy about my condition. I'm grateful about what I've been through. Because when I got here, it was enough for me to stay here. So it was to keep coming back in the people that helped change my vision. It was like sitting in meetings, like it wasn't like I had somewhere else to go. It was like sitting in meetings willing. I ain't understand what you was talking about, but it sure sound better than what I used to hear. Keep coming back. Turn it over. Let us love you till you learn to love yourself. Like, what the hell is they talking about? All I can identify was FFF. I'm gonna fuck you up, we gonna get fucked up, and fuck something up. That was I heard. That was what my ears related to. And I kept coming, man, because, look, I wasn't in touch with the gift of being born again. That we got better than cats. They say they got 9 lives. I don't know how many deaths I had. I wasn't in touch with, man, that every time I thought I got me out of something, I wasn't in touch with no higher power, the God of my understanding that said we don't come in here with brim with love, honesty, not even faith, not even belief in a higher power. My ego was so big, it told me I got me through that. But today I understand that even though I didn't believe in God, He believed in me. And He got me through that for a reason. And today I understand the reason. I stopped saying I'm supposed to be dead. I don't supposed to be dead. I'm supposed to be sitting up here sharing my experience, strength, and hope about not what I did, but what the God of my understanding did for me and how He gave me another vision so that I can see things in a different way. To see life like I've never seen it before. So when the cloud began to clear, man, a little bit, and I stopped using, because that's what we do here first. We don't get faith first. We stop using first. Stop using, because if I don't stop using, I don't want to see shit anyway. It don't matter. I'm the type of addict, man, that, like the literature talks about. Who's an addict? That's me. Nothing else matters. So as I kept coming, man, I began to listen to people. People began to share my story. I stopped saying that. I can't, look at that Shakur, I can't stand him. But why you don't like him? I don't know, I just don't. I couldn't understand why you should say that, man. That man ain't never done nothing to me. I don't even know him. And it wasn't so much that I didn't like myself. I couldn't identify with, I wanted what you had and I didn't know how to fucking act for it. Not only that, I wasn't willing to do what you did to get it. So I'm mad at you for having it. When I began to see something different other than the horrors of addiction, it blew me away. I'm talking about gifts, man. I ain't talking about becoming rich and famous. I'm talking about, man, just with the gift of like, I'm glad to be here. I'm glad to be alive. I do not want to use anymore. Just for the day. All day. Every day. And I began to see things, man, like, you ever recognize grass? You ever go to a park, man, and say, damn, this been here all this time? You ever recognize birds chirping? I ain't talking about like you've been up all night. It was a different chirp. I'm talking like the chirping instead of like, damn, another day or something. Like the chirping became like music. And you began to see that. And you've been in this town all your damn life and you walk downtown and say, damn, there's a McDonald's down here? Yeah, it's been here for 20 years. Where you been? Using. I began to see things, man, that I'd never seen before. I began to look in the mirror. I'm talking about, I started becoming a vision of hope. Not for me. Because when they talking about a vision of hope, they ain't talking about the vision for me. They talking about God using me for somebody else to see me. I began to go through things, man, in recovery because we don't just come here and like everything is peachy clean. I'm talking about I began to go through struggles like going back to prison in recovery. My father dying in recovery. Relationships. Hate ships. Sex ships. All kind of ships. They all sinking and I'm not using. I'm talking about going through loss of jobs, man. I'm talking about going through like people getting close to me and I'm starting to feel, now that's a vision of hope for me. I'm starting to feel for people. You're talking about somebody that can step over you to get a bag and don't care if you're dying. But now I'm starting to go to funerals and cry. A real cry. Not talking about, damn, there's a lot of people in here. If I get $2 from like 5 of them, I'll be all right. And not even caring, having no compassion or empathy for the people that's suffering from the death. I'm talking about feeling again. I'm talking about telling people, man, look, I care about whether you stay here or not. Look, if I can stay here, you can too. This ain't my hope. This ain't my vision. I'm talking about what God started doing for me. People be sitting up here taking credit for God's work, man. I'm not that powerful to change my vision. I'm not that powerful to remove the obsession. I'm not that powerful to change the condition of my heart. I'm not even that powerful to change me. I'm talking about allowing God to use me and to go on the inside and start removing some things so I can become the person that I was supposed to be anyway. Becoming human again. And I began to like what I see. I start seeing things as they was meant to see, reality. Not my own sick-ass illusion that I've been living in for so long. They're talking about becoming a legend in your own mind. I love this vision. I love recovery, man. I am so happy to be where I'm at right now. And I'm not making no excuse. So if you come to here to hear some drama, you in the wrong fucking meeting. Because I ain't got nothing going on. I'm talking about, man, I've been able, through the process of recovery, if I'm doing some work, like not working on you, but committing myself to work on myself and stop looking for happiness in you and then get mad at your ass when you can't deliver. Because I'm trying to cop. Not cope, but cop again. Because I'm trying to use again. I made a decision to start working on myself, man. And guess what? I'm starting to see the results of it. I'm talking about, I'm starting to see the vision. No, I'm no longer waiting on you to pat me on the back. That's right. And give me some type of encouragement and tell me that I'm all right. I'm talking about, man, I'm starting to see that the work that I've been doing is starting to pay the fuck off. And the reason why I say that, and the reason why I know that, because I've been dealing with the same situations I dealt years ago, but I'm dealing with them different. Instead of running, I'm dealing. Instead of acting like I'm okay, I'm getting honest with myself. Instead of being paid child support father, I'm helping raising my daughter. And I'm being there for her. My daughter be 2 years old to 26. Look, man. God has given me another chance. No matter what you say about me, because if you still holding on to some old shit, you better let it go, because the shit almost killed me. So if you holding on to it, then it's going to kill your ass too. I'm talking about, man, some things has happened in my life, man, where changes are starting to manifest themselves that I don't even feel like the same joke. But you know what get on my fucking nerves? It's other people refuse to let it go. I got people coming up to me talking about the same old sick, stupid shit that I don't want to hear anymore. And guess what? I have to pray for them. Because it's funny. I don't know where that came from. I just got off the topic. I'm overwhelmed, man, about what God is doing for me. And I said, God has given me another chance to do some things, man, that I always wanted to do and didn't have the courage to do it. I know today, like, courage ain't like having 3 or 4 women. Courage ain't like knocking somebody out. Courage ain't like taking something from somebody. Courage is doing the right thing for the right reasons. Because I can't stand up here anymore and talking about I don't know. Because once you become aware of something, you can't go back to not knowing. And God has made me aware of some things, and I think my time is up. Because she over here standing by me. So that's a vision. So once, I'm going to say this in closing, once I see something, and God makes me aware of it, I become responsible. And I no longer can like cop out to that I don't know, I'm not aware, I'm not there yet. I have to become responsible and do the right thing for the right reasons so I can reap the benefits of doing the right thing for the right reason. If you don't understand what I said don't get high and keep coming back. Thanks for letting me share.
Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed the podcast. Please help us improve our ranking so others can find us by putting a review on Stitcher, iTunes, or your favorite podcast index. Nawpod is ad-free thanks to the folks supporting the show with $1 or more per month. If you enjoy listening, you can join them by going to nawpod.xyz and looking for the donate link. Thank you for listening. Have a great day.